Hello, this is Mike Hamilton, and I'm going to go through PipePlanner 3 to give you a quick update on how to get through the program. First off, we have to go in, and you can add a new farm. I'm going to go on ahead and go to one that I've already been working with. The first thing that you're going to come to is your water source, and add a water source. And one of the things that's different in this version than the previous versions is that you have to put your water source outside of the field boundaries. And it's just for some calculations that PipePlanner has to do, but you have to put your water source outside of the actual field boundaries. And also on this field boundary, if you'll notice, once we hit save and continue here, it'll take us to the field tab, and we can draw the field and draw the field, the boundary on the side where the polypipe is going to be laying. Be sure and draw that where the polypipe will be laying, or very close. And the fewer clicks, the better. If you'll notice here, when I did this field, did just 2 at the top, and I did, I think, 3 at the bottom just because of this little leg over here. But anyway, the fewer clicks, the better. And you'll know that whenever you're going through the program, just by fumbling through it. But now on this right here, you see the tubing on this side actually goes at this angle here, but I could not draw it at that steep of an angle because PipePlanner did not like those angles. So I actually had to lie to the program until it was up here. So we'll end up having, probably 7 or 8 more rows in this field than we would in this design here. We'll have less than we will in the actual design because that's going at an angle there. So it's going to be a little different there, but that's why we keep our head pressures at 2.5 and lower like we do, just to do that kind of thing. So on the design, you've got to put this in here. You don't have to change the design name. You can do that on the first. Change the field name if you want. Save and continue. Bring you to this one. You've got to put the planting date and the crop type. And the reason that you got to do this is later they're going to add an irrigation feature in here to tell us when to irrigate, an irrigation scheduler. So, that's just something that's in there. This furrow or levee, this is where you can pick if you want to do levee and do multiple inlet rice fields. It'll let you rice and put levee in there, and it'll let you do that. So save and continue when you do that, and it just takes you progression through it. Now, this is a new feature to the version 3, and it's a little irritating, but once you play with it and learn it, I think it'll be fine. Number one, when you draw your field boundaries, draw them correctly to begin with. Because to go back, you've got to go all the way back to this tab and edit it, and then it changes everything that you do in these other tabs here. So on the field layouts, you'll click on Mark First and Last Furrows. Come into the field, and when you click one time, it'll put this green dot up here, and you'll move it left and right. Once you've already got it there, you've got to get on it and click one time so you can move it. Now, what you cannot do in this is move that around the corner. If it goes around the corner, you're going to have errors. I would rather you put it up here and be off of the corner as opposed to being right on the corner and not knowing if that's around it or not. Get up here. Stay on the top side where the polypipe's going to be. One click and it's done. Then you go down to the bottom of the field to where your end of your furrows are. And this one's just at an angle, so it's way down here to the bottom. So there's my red one. And what I'll do with that is I'll come in the field, click one time, and then my red dot will follow me. And I'm the same as the other one. Don't wrap it around that last corner. Keep it up here or you'll get an error message. So I'm going to click one time, and then it puts all these lines in here. If I zoom out on the field that you can see, all right, now we're going to click Mark Furrow Direction. And no matter where you click, it's going to pivot in the center of that field, no matter where you click. Now, notice when I move this left and right, it's trying to see which side of the field that I planted the field with. Well, my rows are running south in this field, so I'm going to pull it down. Notice at this angle, my right side of my screen here of my field is white. If I move it over to this way a little bit, see how that one on the bottom left by my red dot turned white? It's letting you choose the orientation of your furrows. And you could pick any of these sides depending on how subtle you move this. So our furrows here, our straight line is this right side, so I'm going to click one time and then it put all my lines in there. Save and continue. Now it's going to take us into our watering options here, and you can see 39 hours, and we would prefer to be at 36 or less, of course. And 24 and less is even better. Make sure your right water source is selected here. If you've got several water sources, it may default to a different one. Make sure that's right with the correct flow rate, because if those two don't match, your water source here will disappear on the next screen. So we're putting 3 acre inches on. That's just a good average, depending on whether it's a tight silt loam or whatever, but that's a good average. So with every furrow, and I'm just arrowing down this left side here, and I've got my flow per furrow, my field watering time. Now this new feature, divide into sets. Instead of me drawing this into 2 separate sets, it's default to half of it. And when I hit update here, it's going to change it automatically to 2 even sets. Set 1 and set 2. 2 19-hour sets. Now let's say the producer would rather it be, come a little further on this first set, even though it's going to take it longer. You can actually do that too. We can put this back to the 38 hours and update it to go back to 1 set. I can click this draw set in here, and let's just say that the producer, he normally comes here to this junction of the field, so we'll just do that. We'll click there, and we're going to tell it that that's where we want to do our sets at. So I'll click one time. I got a 30-hour set and an 8-hour set now. So you can do it any way you want to do it. I'm going to go on ahead and back and do it into 2 equal sets. So there's my 2 equal sets. So I'm going to save and continue. Now drawing the tubing. This is a feature that is a lot different, and this is why I wanted you to put it on this tubing line here, the edge of the field. So I'm going to draw a pipe, and I'm going to zoom in to my tubing here, or my well, pretty close, and I'll show you why right here. You have to start at the water source. Once you click one time, normal click at the water source, now we have our poly pipe following us wherever we go. Now watch when I get to this juncture up here how it snaps to that corner there. It's wanting to snap to that. Before I even get there, it's doing it. So I'm going to click way over here, and now it's following me. So I'm going to let it do that. Then I'm going to go down to the end of this first run, and watch it snap when I get real close. See how it just automatically snaps to that corner? So I'm going to click one time. Now I'm going to right click, and that just terminated that pipe when I right clicked. Now I can click on this and tie off end, open end, delete connection. And actually on this first field right here, I've still got to draw this pipe over here. Well, what I can do is I can turn this into an inline T, and now I can draw my tubing over here on this other side, and it snapped to it. One click, right click, and now I'm going to leave it at open end. And the open end there is actually what we recommend, so that whenever it's going downhill, we would rather the water go out the bottom of that tubing as opposed to rupture the tubing up above it. So leaving it open end has a lot of benefits. We just want to put a build up under there. So now I'm going to do set 1. I'm going to continue with set 1. I'm going to go ahead and do open set summary. If you don't, it won't save it. So we're going to put our elevations in here. And I know that it's level across the top up there, so 0. And then 0 at my inline T. And then I know path 1 was our long set because I drew it first. The long set down the west side. I know that is falling 1 foot down that side. And I know that path T, that 88 foot, I know that it's flat, so it's 0 right there. And then all of my asterisks are gone now. And I can hit View Design. And now it won't pick several designs, it picks one design instead of the old version that picks several. And we've got a lot of different ones here, and we're not going to punch these right here whenever we get down here to these little small ones. So I'm going to pick 7/8, 13/16, and 3/4. I ain't worried about these last ones down here. Right now I'm at 94% uniformity, 2.35. So I'm going to clear. I'm going to pick 7/8, 13/16, and 3/4. I'm telling you, those are the ones I want to use. So I revise it. And then there's my design with just those hole sizes. So across that top leg, I can do the 7/8, and then I can do the 32 7/8, 30 13/16, and 39 3/4 down the other side. Put a 1.8 build up down the short side, path 1, which it changed path 1 and path 2 there. I just noticed that. Path 1 is the short side now, and path 2 is the long side. But anyway, showing you the 2.6 build up here at the end. So, and we're still at 94%, so that's a very good design. So now we're going to update design to do the other side. We can print that one from there, but update design, it takes you back here to the first one, so you need to go down here to the bottom, pipe layout, takes you to your draw pipe. We need to hit on set 2, and the few clicks the better. So I'm going to click at my water source, and I'm not going to worry about coming here because it's not going to matter that much. So I'm going to come down here and watch it snap to this corner. If I'll get in there. So it snaps to it, click. And then it snaps to that one click, right click, and it's default to the open end. So I'm going to open set summary. I know I'm 0 at the well. This is my first point there, which is basically the same amount of tubing that's the first run. But this one I know it's dropping 4 foot to the bottom of the field. And see, it's interpolating the data between there, and it's 1.1, which we put 1, which is very, very close, so we're good. View design. Now the first thing that jumps out at me is this 2.94. I am not going to do a design that high. I can live with a 2.6, 2.7, sometimes a 2.8, but the rupture point of this tubing is 3, and I'm not getting it that high. Even though I like the 90%, and you know, I don't want to put one build up at the bottom, and it's just too much pressure. So I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to hit, I want my max pressure to be 2, and I'm going to revise it. And now I'm at 91. Actually went up 1% from the 90 to 91, I believe. Now my max pressure is 2, min's 0.6, which I'm 0.5 and higher is better, but I'm happy with that. That's fine. And these are several hole sizes, I will give you that, but look at the difference that we're starting at long rows going to really, really short rows down here. So it's telling us a build up at 2,053 feet at 2 foot. And then at the very end of the tubing, put another build up of 1.8 foot. And if you have a little water running out the bottom of that tubing, you know, make this 1.9 foot, you know, to get so the water doesn't run out. But that's what we've got to do on this program is trust this. And I did one the other day that was falling 5.5 feet, and we went through the field and did it this way, and it told us to do these build ups. We didn't believe it. We were questioning it the whole way, but we did what it said, and it worked great. So I commend the developers of this program, and I think we've got a great tool here that's really going to save us some water in the long run. And don't hesitate to call your county agents or your NRCS employees across the state, and we'll be tickled to help you anytime we can. Thank you.